if not necessarily inaccurate. If Ruiz still considered a top fighter, then any top fighter facing each other is good for the fans, even though risky for careers. Yeah, so I'll get to the point. I'll get to my final point on this topic, the Ruiz topic. As far this is a golden matchup. This matchup for Dillian is a dangerous, but I think it's a kind of calculated danger. Not to say Dillian wouldn't fight him at any other point, but I think this could be catching Ruiz at certainly not a high ebb. But what's a high ebb and what's a low ebb? What's a high ebb and what's a low ebb for Dillian? I mean, you would have said the fighting Rivas immediately after he beat Joshua. You would have said that that's fighting Ruiz at a high ebb, at his peak. You said that's fighting him at a mental and emotional peak. He would have been flying. You would have imagined he would have been flying. And you would have said a low ebb would be fighting him at a time like this. You would have said that would have been a low ebb. But with Ruiz, it don't with Ruiz, it don't work that way. It don't work that way with Ruiz because Joshua should have been, you'd have thought that in the rematch, Ruiz would have been at a high ebb. And now we're expecting him to be maybe at a low ebb, but it don't work like that with Ruiz. It could be, in fact, the next person who fights Ruiz might be getting one of the best Ruiz we've seen in a while. But my point is that where's my point? If Whyte fights Ruiz, oh yeah, that's it. If Whyte beats Ruiz next, that's almost like a silver bullet for Whyte. That's almost like a silver bullet because no one can have any excuses. Our American friends, one of whom has just joined us, I'll get to you in a second, YG. Our American friends cannot say. They can't say who was Whyte beat. He would add Ruiz to a very good list that he's got of his victories. And the Deontay Wilder supporters cannot dismiss him any further. If he were to beat Ruiz, that would be like a silver bullet. Big boys boxing.
And coincidentally, Ruiz is one of the guys that Deontay Wilder has avoided his whole career.
So,
why is that?
Yeah, I think Ruiz is a tough guy to beat. It's a tough guy. It's no walk in the park, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I've said it before too. I think you just touched on it there. We're not expecting much from Ruiz after his last performance and how he prepared for the fight and whatnot. But I have said it before. It could have been the kick in the pants that he needed. And like you said, we could end up seeing the best Ruiz we've ever seen in the next fight, which could be very dangerous for Dillian.
Yeah, absolutely. But if Dillian beats him, then what message does that send out, big boys?
Well, he's pretty much already proven he's an elite heavyweight. I know there's going to be the doubters that will say, "Oh, he's just beating another fat slob," but
realistically, from an objective,
an objective point of view, he was a three belt unified world champion not so long ago. Yeah. So it bodes really well for Dillian as to a resume that's pretty strong as it is. And there'll be no denying anybody who's saying Dillian Whyte's a bum if he beats Andrew Ruiz, particularly if Ruiz is in pretty good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. The watcher.
Yeah, Ruiz. Good opponent for Whyte to have. I mean, former world champion. They had all the belts, most of them anyway. I'm just wondering, if it happens, where they're gonna have it, because I think that will matter as well. Where Whyte beat.
I think the offer is contingent upon it being in the UK.
Yeah, well, I think anyway. I think they want it there. This is sort of how I see it, right? Dillian. I reckon ever since that Brown fight, his popularity's just risen. And then
Yeah.
with the Parker one, you had a more entertaining fight than AJ did. And then you had another blockbuster with Chisora. And then after AJ lost, I think the UK sort of turned to Dillian because Fury's just nowhere to be seen in the UK training or fighting. So they turned to Dillian. People like Dillian because he comes from Brixton. He comes from that rough part of London.
Yeah.
And they relate to him. So he gets that massive cheer when his name is announced when he's walking out. So that's kind of like the new star there in the UK. It's like the new Joshua almost. I would say Joshua's more popular, but Dillian's just risen as a star there. And for him to beat Ruiz,
Dillian's Dillian. He's not the new Joshua. It's a different.
Yeah, I know, but like
but carry on. Yeah.
Dillian Whyte, and he's just become that star there. And him beating Ruiz in style on home turf, it would be huge. It would be great for him.
Absolutely, and I think it would close. Would it close the doors of the naysayers, the Deontay Wilder fans, the naysaying Deontay Wilder fans? Would they be left with any excuses?
What are the Wilder fans saying? What are they saying?
Well, I mean, he's not worthy. White ain't worthy.
Oh, he's worthy. He's been worthy since Parker fight.
Yeah.
He's worthy anyway. I don't know why they're saying that, but he's worthy.
He's worthy.
If he does Ruiz a good number on Ruiz, he's got nothing to really prove anyway. But yes, that would add another layer on top to saying, yeah, I'm worthy.
Yeah. Yes.